It is impossible to conceive of the excellencies of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam without the excellencies of his message. That is the book. So he remains the last and the final in all virtue. So once he is accepted by the whole world, that objective of his coming is fulfilled. So far that objective has not been fulfilled because he was not sent to convert half the world or 1/3 of the world to Islam. The ultimate purpose of his sending was to turn the whole humanity into one religion, that is Islam. And the very best of religion would be given to the mankind, and the very best of prophet would bring that religion. So once that has happened, then you can visualize the situation of that man, that future generation, or that future times. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the very highest of Allah's favors, has been accepted in totality by the whole mankind. Afterwards, when that is rejected, it can't be rejected without the rejection of his message. So apparently people would continue to stick with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but in reality they would be rejecting him because they would be rejecting his message. They would not translate that message into their lives. Having once accepted it, they would turn rebellious towards it. The result would be that the very best of Allah's favors, having consummated, having completed, would be finally rejected by mankind. And because no one can reject Allah's favor without being rejected himself, so the mankind as such will be rejected ultimately. Inna Allaha la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Wa idha arada Allahu biqawmin su'an fala maradda lahu wa ma lahum min dunihi min wal. This is the meaning. And in another place, the same style of expression is connected with the word inam. The similar verse tells us that Allah does not take away his inam, his favor, from any people unless they themselves change something within them and they begin to change the inam of God. That is the favor of Allah. Once that favor of Allah is corrupted, then Allah decides to corrupt those people and reject them. And once this decision has been taken by Allah, nobody can come to save them. So although it's the most glorious vision, the most glorious vision of a golden age, when the whole mankind would be brought under one flag and on one platform, and the purpose of the mankind would be fulfilled. Yet if you have the depth of vision to see beyond, it is also a message of the greatest tragedy to happen to mankind, ultimately. It is something that reminds you of, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's coming as a great favor, and when he was about to be taken away materially, not in spirit, when time came for his passing away, he mentioned it to Sahaba in a concealed manner. He said, Allah spoke to his dear servant and gave him the glad tidings of meeting, something like that. I don't exactly remember the words. They were so concealed that nobody could understand. But Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu understood the message. And he started crying and he lost all control over himself. He sobbed and wouldn't be contained. People turned to him and said, Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam was telling such wonderful things about Allah speaking to his dear servant and showing his love to him in this way or that way. Why did you start crying? He said, you don't know. The message was that he has completed his task here. The message was that Allah was showing his love to him because he has done for which he had been sent for. And because his time, his job is finished here, so he would return. So in the same message where you read glad tidings, I read tragedy. Because I couldn't conceive of a time when Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would no longer be here. So sometimes there are hidden in glad tidings some tragic views. Now I go beyond and imagine that part, not because it is just a futile exercise, but because that compels me to pray for those times and for the elongation of the true golden period. And also reminds me of the grave responsibilities upon us and the importance of safeguarding our values and maintaining our values and giving them permanence as far as we can give. So this is the reason why I am conveying all this in your experience to you, so that you should also be mindful. You should try to achieve the final victory of Islam with all your might, but with the purpose of maintaining that victory and continuing it in its true spirit forever and forever. If you do it, in the same verse which I have quoted, there is also a promise. Inna la yughayyiru ma bi qawmin hatta yughayyiru. It's not a phenomena which would automatically happen. The key is your own hands. If you do not change, if you guard your moral values, then Allah assures you that don't think it's a natural phenomena of decay, it will automatically take over. Allah tells you it will not, it will be stayed. And this is the special favor of Allah, that as long as you remain good and correct, and as long as you are truly grateful to Allah's favors, Allah will not change that phenomenon, and Allah will safeguard you, and Allah will remain a merciful and beneficent Allah to you. So when you pray for your present and for your own personal small worries, also include in your prayers the future generations and the glory of Ahmadiyya. Pray for its continuity. Pray so that we may be able to give it an everlasting shine. Maybe we are not able to do that, but that is what we should try, that is what we should endeavor. And if we are not able to do that, to them at least we ourselves will be revived by Allah, rewarded by Allah. So still it will not be an exercise in futility. If you pray for the future generations, even if you can't bring about a change in their faith, if it is a faith, still by those very prayers you will be changing your own fate. You will be rewarded by Allah yourself. And I am quite certain that these prayers would be meaningful, would play a great part, and inshallah ta'ala the glory of Islam, once achieved in its totality, would continue to stay here for a long, long, long time.